over to your school just in case.
But do we want like when you speak, the audio is going to come through here too?
I think you would have to mute your speakers as well.
Then if I do that, then we don't get this stuff.
This is the, let's get started. A few minutes. Is that everybody settling?
You're not gonna, yeah, it's so general.
Yeah.
You're not
Oh, you can kindly sign in over here at this table, it'd be great. Hi there. There's a sign in on the table right over here. All right. Wow, that's really loud. Good evening, everybody. My name is Mr. Smith. I am the band director here at River Trails Middle School. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. Test, 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 test. All right. The reason I'm using, I probably don't even need the microphone, but the reason I'm doing it is because they need to hear us on the live stream, and we don't want there to be any trouble hearing on the live stream. Let's thank Mr. Ben Finford for being here and setting all that up for everybody that's at home. We do appreciate that, and we have to also thank him for the genius behind this. I didn't even think of this, and he sent me a thing. He's like, "Oh, you got to take advantage of this." So, Mr. Smith goes to Washington. Not bad, right? It's pretty good. I am very excited to be bringing back this trip. We've had to take, obviously for obvious reasons, we've been taking a couple of years off from travel, but it's exciting to be able to bring this back. You're probably wondering why me? Why am I the one organizing this? Okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit about why. Okay, so they were looking for someone to organize the trip. And I immediately, I love student travel. I've done quite a bit of it. I've taken 8 trips. I think it's 8. 5 of those were to Florida with band students. I think student travel is a great thing. I think this trip in particular is very important for 8th graders as they transition from middle school to high school. Very important. They need to learn about their country. And there's no better place to do that than to be in Washington, D.C. and to learn about everything that there is to do there. Before we move forward, I do want to mention that we do have a need for chaperones. So if you're interested in being a chaperone, and that's anyone that's listening on the Zoom or on the live stream, if you're interested in being a chaperone, there is a sign-up sheet over here to let me know you're interested in being a chaperone. Chaperones are going to be paying 1/2 of the single room rate. Now I believe that's about $900+ for chaperones, okay? So keep that in mind. And the chaperones, we're gonna try to keep it at a 1-to-10 ratio. We're not gonna know that magic number until we know how many students are going, okay? So keep that in mind. And if we get more chaperones signed up than we need, we're going to have to hold a lottery to decide who those chaperones are going to be, okay? And so I wish we could take everyone, but we're not going to be able to take everyone. All right, so if you're interested in being a chaperone, if you're listening online tonight, you can send me an email at tsmith, that's tsmith @rtsd26.org, and let me know that you're interested in being considered as a chaperone, and I can make sure that you get onto the list. It's important for me to have email addresses so I can stay in touch with those individuals. All right, so we'd like to now move forward with the rest of our presentation. This is exciting. This is awesome. I researched actually several different travel agencies, and I landed on World Strides for a lot of reasons, which I think you'll see in this presentation. They're world class, they offer a lot of things for the students, and you'll see some of these exciting things that they offer. Bridget Massaclat, did I say her last name right? I got it. I was practicing. Bridget is here from World Strides, and she's going to take you through the entire trip presentation right now, and then we're going to have an opportunity to answer any questions that you may have, and we're going to. we'll be able to do that through Zoom too, if they have questions, right? All right, so without further ado, I'll introduce you to Bridget.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome. We are super excited to be working with Mr. Smith and pulling together this DC trip. I think everyone can agree that we are excited to get out of our own neighborhoods. And so being able to plan for something fun for the kids has been exciting for everyone here as well. And so we have a short PowerPoint presentation. I promise I will not take up your entire evening. I know it's a beautiful early summer evening, and I believe This Is Us, the series finale is tonight, so I promise I won't take up your whole evening. It's about a 15-20 minute presentation, and then I will stick around for any individual questions that you may happen to have. And for those attending virtually, feel free to send us your questions over the chat. Go ahead. This is just an outline for what to expect for our short meeting. You can go ahead and click to the next. So I always like to show this video. The students had the opportunity to see this video already, but it does a very good job of showing you what the students will be seeing on our trip next spring. So if you can make sure to unmute it.
Yeah, doing that.
There we go.
To other students because it's a really great experience and you get to have a good time with your friends and you learn a lot.
It's been really amazing. They've been taking me a bunch of places.
My good friend has been Lincoln Memorial because I got to finally see it in real life instead of on the computer. DC is amazing! Hands-on things, you get to learn things with your friends, and you get to actually see what you're learning in class in real life.
I do always like to share that video. Sorry.
Hold on. Okay.
Okay, I always like to share that video because there's no amount of my excitement that will actually reflect the excitement of actually seeing the kids on the ground in DC. This is also the part where I like to brag about one of my colleagues who's been with World Strides for 45 years was sharing with us some of the students that he's taken on this trip because he actually started as an 8th grade history teacher himself. One of his students who went to, their trip was actually to DC and New York. One of his students is our current Attorney General. So I just think it's cool. You never know where these kids are going to end up. Going on these trips can really open up their eyes to how big the world could be, how much of an impact they can make in the world, and it could change the trajectory of where they see themselves being. So if we can go ahead. Oh, you did already. Perfect. Your trip is all-inclusive, right from the moment we leave campus to when we come on back. So that means everything that your student will need is included in your trip price. The only extras that you may think about sending your student with is if they are big into vending machines or if you want some like added souvenir money. However, we've already built something in for your students, so they will have a souvenir allotment as well. So we can go ahead and click that. The next several slides actually just shows you pictures of the sites that are included If you received either a PDF or a paper copy of a registration letter, on the back of the first page or the second page, depending on if it was digital, gives you a sample itinerary. I stress that it is sample because I don't know the exact order in which day your student will see these sites, but I can assure you that the vast majority of these sites will be seen. It just may kind of maneuver around as to the order.
Let me just scroll through these.
Yeah, I can scroll through. So yes, being able to see Capitol Hill. Sometimes there's different connections within the community to various members in the Senate or the Congress, so that you're able to actually go in and see something in the chambers. That's all dependent upon you guys though, because we take hundreds of thousands of students. We put in those requests and they don't pay any attention to us. But if you guys happen to have those connections within the community, definitely take advantage of that. So these are the trip details for you all. You'll see that we're traveling at the end of the school year, so as to not conflict with instructional time. The price, again, is all-inclusive. It is $13.99. There's an additional 5% discount should your family have any first responders or be veterans or active military. The deposit is only $49, and we're asking for everybody to try and register by Friday, June 3rd. Which I guess is next Friday. This year is just going by so fast. So by next Friday, put the $49 down. That reserves your student spot. The trip ID is printed in all the registration letters, but it is that 6-digit number. You don't have to memorize it. It will be in the thank you email I sent you. It's in everything that was printed and handed out to your students. We do offer trip insurance, which is the full refund program. It's an additional $179. Prior to 2020, I always said it's personal preference, whatever your comfort level is. But now, after the last 2 years, I say get it. You never know what's going to happen. I'm finding myself getting trip insurance or program insurance for things like concerts and plays that I never would have considered before, right? But now everyone's a little bit more cautious, and what it grants you is a little bit more peace of mind. You would get all of your money back for any reason. You can cancel for any reason, no questions asked. You would get all of your money back, less the cost of the full refund program. So you would get all of your money back except for that $179. And as an added thank you for starting early, thankfully Mr. Smith started early, there is an added incentive for you all. You would actually get $100 credit back to your account should you register within 48 hours of today. So today is Tuesday, so by Thursday evening, you register your student, that $13.99 will drop down an additional $100. Now I do want you to draw attention to the fact that it's a credit back. So if you register online, it's not going to be reflected immediately. It is something that we manually apply after Thursday evening's deadline passes. We go back and we put the $100 back into your account. So give us like 5 to 10 business days, usually it's less than that, but 5 to 10 business days to put that credit back on your account. And then I think we have a video here. And so online, Todd, they were saying they could not hear that last video. So I think you have to unmute your mic and...
So I need to unmute this one.
I think unmute your mic and maybe unmute your speakers.
I'm so confused.
Share audio button.
I think we click that
Oh,
when we
you
start
did already?
sharing, yeah. But I mean, you can stop sharing and
So
share.
is that me up there at the top? Right there?
Yeah.
So I want to unmute this.
Try that and unmute your speakers as well.
Which I think you did.
Right, I did. So, and when I shared this, I was sharing, should I try and do sharing, just make sure I'm sharing audio? Oh, maybe
Yeah,
maybe I wasn't
there you
sharing
go.
sound.
There you go.
Okay, and then.
So I can still mute, I can
Yeah,
do
you
this,
can
right?
be muted, it'll
Yeah.
feedback on the rest.
Okay. All right. Sorry, folks at home. Sorry about that. I need to get
this back.
If you just click anywhere, it'll.
All right.
World Strides, the nation's most trusted educational student travel provider, is taking you on a trip.
Oh, it's gone.
So if you click anywhere on the screen while it's playing, it'll stop.
Over the next few minutes, you'll learn more about World Strides' mission and values and why we are so passionate about educational student travel. You'll also learn about the industry-leading support network we have in place to ensure a safe experience, our educational philosophy, as well as the many tools we have in place to make these trips possible for all students. We are honored to have partnered with your program leader to offer your child this amazing experience. This is the very first group of students that traveled on a World Strides program in 1967. An 8th grade history teacher from Chicago, Illinois, took the entire grade to Washington, D.C. He was so inspired by travel, he stopped teaching and started World Strides. Fast forward to today. Over 500,000 students and nearly 10,000 teachers from all 50 states travel with us each year. And that adds up to over 9 million students that have traveled with World Strides over the last 50 plus years. Over our history, we've established the best relationships with the best travel vendors in the industry. That's everything from airlines to hotels to motor coaches to attractions, which is such a critical part of ensuring the best experience possible on each and every trip. But let's talk about safety and support first. With 50 years experience, we know what it takes to offer a flawless trip experience for teachers and students, and this all starts even before you depart. Your teacher, who we'll call a program leader, is assigned to a dedicated account manager. This is a travel logistics expert who has crafted the perfect itinerary for your group. They'll work with your program leader to coordinate all the details leading up to travel so the students will be prepared for the big day. Parents, that's what we call you watching this video. You'll have your own support team as well. Our World Strides customer support team is available to help you with everything from registering for the trip to helping you with your packing list. You'll even be assigned a financial support representative who can assist you with everything from financial assistance to payment plans. Now for the students. That's also you watching this video. As your travel date arrives, the strength of World Strides really kicks in. We have one of the biggest and best safety and support networks in the industry, all designed to ensure a safe experience for all travelers. The following are a few of the many measures in place, with specifics being slightly different based upon your particular travel destination. From the moment you arrive at the airport, you're met by one of our field specialists who greets your group and connects you with your motor coach and World Strides course leader. This course leader is a destination expert, specially trained by our curriculum and academics team to bring learning to life. Our course leaders and motor coach drivers, who are the best in the industry, work hand in hand to get you around your destination quickly and safely to maximize the fun and learning. After a day of travel and exploring, World Strides will have a representative waiting at the hotel for you. This person is called an on-site coordinator, and they will be your hotel liaison to ensure everything goes smoothly. At the hotel, there are also night chaperones. These World Strides staff members are located on each hallway to keep a watchful eye over the students to make sure they get a good night's sleep. But the safety network doesn't stop there. There is a 24/7 support team called World Assist that's ready to take action at a moment's notice should the need arise. The phone number to World Assist is printed on all student name badges for quick access if needed. World Strides also has an exclusive partnership with the George Washington University Department of Emergency Medicine. This Doctors on Call program is available 24/7 should a medical incident occur during the trip. And last, but certainly not least, all travelers are automatically covered under World Strides medical, dental, and accidental insurance in the unlikely event that it would be needed. Like we said, the safety of our travelers has always been World Strides' #1 priority.
Education in everything we do is also one of World Strides' guiding principles. Throughout our history, we have seen the incredible impact that travel has on the lives of young people. Better grades, higher college acceptance rates, great self-confidence, a more global perspective, career advancement, the list goes on. like these and the stories we hear each and every day from our traveling teachers and students that fuel our passion for making travel possible for all students. World Strides is accredited, just like your school. We undergo the same rigorous accreditation process that your school has to go through, and we are proud to say that we pass with top honors. It's this accreditation that allows us to offer our Discovery for Credit program, where students have the opportunity to earn high school credit, and on some programs, those high school students in grades 9 through 12 at time of travel can even earn free college credits through our university partner, George Mason University. Students can enroll in the Discovery for Credit program after they register for the trip, and they'll have up to 6 months after travel to complete their online coursework. Upon successful course completion, students will be issued a transcript which they can use to differentiate themselves on a college application. And the best part is World Strides has many great tools available to help every student have the chance to travel on this incredible opportunity with their classmates. The first is a need-based financial assistance program which provides over $2.5 million each year to families who qualify. Families with an annual adjusted gross income of $85,000 or less can call World Strides customer service to find out how much financial assistance may be available to them. Families can find out this amount even before signing up for the trip. Thousands of families receive assistance each year. Whether it's $50 or up to $400 off the trip price, every little bit can help make this dream a reality for your child. World Strides also has a very easy and effective student-led fundraising program called the Gift of Education. Friends, family members, and even your local community can make online donations to your child's trip, with 100% of the money going straight to offset the trip price. Through WorldStridesFundraising.com, students can send e-cards, share links on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and even mail a traditional letter, and in one simple click, students can receive direct donations toward their trip. Each year, hundreds if not thousands of students pay for their entire trip through these Gift of Education donations. World Strides also offers affordable monthly payment plans. After signing up for your trip with a low initial deposit, the remaining balance is broken out into smaller amounts and paid monthly. We even have an automated payment option called Easy Pay, which automatically deducts your monthly payment from your bank account, saving you time.
We are so excited to be your partner in this educational journey, and we cannot wait to help make this opportunity a reality for you. Now, let's hear some final remarks from your program leader. Take care, and we hope to see you soon.
Okay, so this is just a summary of everything that we discussed this evening. However, I do want to harp on 3 important things. The first is flag financial assistance. I know they talk about it in the video, but there's a lot of information in that video, so I like to just kind of circle back and go over what that looks like again. Flag financial assistance is designed specifically for families whose income is $85K or less. And every year we put $2.5 to $3 million of financial assistance money aside for those families. It is very easy to apply, so if your family falls into that category of 85K or less, and that was for sure me growing up, call in, speak with a customer service representative. It's that same 800 number that's listed on the screen here. You would speak with a customer service representative for 5-10 minutes. We do have bilingual representatives if needed, and in that conversation, they will tell you what kind of discount your student will receive. That money is then earmarked for your student for 30 days. So you have 30 days to decide, does that new discounted price fit into your family's budget? If it does, fantastic, you can finish registration. If you wait till day 31, that money will have already been returned to the big fund and you would have to apply again. So again, you don't know how much you'll get. Is it $20? Is it $200? Who knows? But I say free money is better than my money. So take advantage of it. Call, again, that 800 number, 5 to 10 minute phone conversation, and they'll be able to tell you what kind of discount your student will receive. Second thing, Gift of Education. They talk about it here. It is very similar to GoFundMe and any crowdfunding website. However, what's different with World Strides Gift of Education, 100% of the money that your student receives will go directly to your student's trip. Those other websites will take a small percentage. Once you register, you will have access to all the gift of education resources. So those are email templates. You can print out like old school letters and mail things out. Social media links, that is all available there. I have one student, he was in the south suburbs of Chicago, and he printed out his letter. He went to his local VFW, bingo night, so he's thinking. He brought the letter and he told them that he wants to go on his 8th grade DC trip, and if any donation would be greatly appreciated. This kid raised $550 in one night. So, where there's a will, there's a way. Definitely take advantage of that resource. And then the last thing that I want to discuss is payment plans. We have a variety of payment plans available. It will default to an automatic monthly payment. However, if you want to change that, you would call in, speak with a customer service representative, and you can set something up so that it matches what your family's abilities are. We do have an extended payment plan option available, which will allow for you to be paying for this trip all the way up until December of next year. So December of 2023. So you'll have, an additional almost 6 months after the trip has occurred to be paying off that trip. And we do this just so that regardless of where a family's financial situation is, if they want to send their student on this trip, we try to do whatever we can to make it possible. So again, to register, it's $49. You would use this trip ID number that's listed on the screen here, 202-911. That is the reference number for everything in reference to your trip. $49 by next week, Friday, June 3rd. And again, if you register within the next 48 hours, you will get $100 credit back that will be reflected on your account in 5 to 10 business days. Those are the main things that I wanted to reiterate. Is there anything else you want me to go over?
Well, I think this would be a good time for some questions, right?
Okay, so there's one more thing that I want to stress. Back in March of 2020, I had a band that was a band and orchestra, actually. Mr. Kuzmanoff and myself were getting ready to take students to Disney World to perform there, and that trip got canceled for obvious reasons. The people that were smart enough, and we didn't know COVID was coming, right? The people that were smart enough to get insurance got all their money back right away. And most of the people that were going on the trip did not get all their money back. We pushed and pushed and pushed. It was a long battle, but we ended up getting about 90% back, which was fantastic, but it was a rough battle. So I would like to say, just from lessons learned, getting the trip insurance is probably a really good idea, okay? And there's multiple reasons why you may not be able to go on the trip. I'm sure you can think of several. So, I would strongly suggest doing that. Okay, so right now, we can ask you, we ask if you have some questions, you can go ahead and raise your hand, or if you're on the line, how do you want them to do that? Type it in, or?
Yes, they're typing it in.
Awesome.
I'm answering. One of the questions that was asked online is what ID, if any, is required for the students to travel? No ID is required. I know that the state of Illinois is requiring for anybody who's 18 or older to have the real ID starting October of this year. Will that get postponed? No, it's been postponed a couple of times already, but the students who are traveling on this trip do not need to bring any sort of ID. Trust me, they see a busload of teenagers coming through, and they try to usher us through TSA pretty quickly.
Yes.
If we go with the monthly payment, how is it also due to gift of education? How does that get applied? Does that get checked at the end, or does it adjust the monthly payments as you go?
Sure. So the question, just for those who are attending online, the question was in regards to gift of education, fundraising money, how is that applied to monthly payments? So all of that money that is coming in, whether it's fundraising dollars, flag financial assistance, gift of education, all of that is applied to final payment first. So let's just say in theory that you have 6 months of payments left, but you've fundraised 3 months worth, then you would only have to pay the next 3 months, and your last 3 months would be completely covered. Somebody had asked, in the past there was a Springfield trip offered. Is that still being offered?
Not currently. I think that was for 7th grade. I think.
Traditionally, Springfield was 7
Yeah.
years.
So, Yeah, things have changed drastically in regards to travel, and you notice that the date of the trip is after the school year is over. That's another thing that's changed in our school district. And I do want to mention one thing. Please be flexible with that date because I've been having some talks with administration. They might need us to bump it back a little bit just in case we get some cancellations that we can't do e-learning. And if we're taking teachers, that becomes a major issue with a contract, with our teacher's contract, it becomes a major issue. So please be flexible. I'd like to think that we're not going to be arriving back here after the trip any later than June 8th. Okay, so if you can be a little bit flexible, we're gonna give you some firm dates very, very soon. Okay.
So did I answer the question? Kind of in a roundabout kind of way. Yeah.
Any other questions? Yes.
Vaccine requirements?
I think that's a thing of the past, right? Yeah.
The question posed in person was, are there vaccine requirements? There are none right now. There are certain locations that will ask for individuals to be masked, but that is by location, and from what I understand, that is very, very limited in DC.
We're gonna cross our fingers and then 1 year from now.
Oh, don't.
No? Okay, I won't say anything. I'm still crossing my fingers. There's another question over here somewhere. Yes.
You say they don't need any ID, but not even the passport?
Nope.
No.
No ID
No.
is required for the students.
All right.
Any more questions?
Well, I will stick around.
Wait, we have one more question.
Sure.
Medication, how does that work? Do students need something and they take the inhalers or?
Right.
Sure.
So I could answer that one. So what I've done in the past is we collect information from the parents, like what medications are needed, and the chaperones have helped to administer those. That's the way I've done it on my trips in the past, unless there's another way that you might suggest.
The question that was asked, and just share it
Yeah, that's
first. The
fine.
question that was asked in person was, what do we do in regards to medications? And very similar to what Mr. Smith was saying, is we actually have a medical release form that everybody will fill out for their student prior to departure, so that there's multiple copies on every bus that we have. And so should a student need something administered to them, everybody will be well aware, and typically one of the chaperones is in charge of that.
That's even better. I like that plan.
But I have a question. Are they flying?
Yes, we're gonna be flying. So we'll get a motor coach from here to the airport. Correct me if I'm wrong about that. Yes, so we're a motor coach from here, and I'm assuming we're gonna be leaving quite early in the morning because that day is gonna be a day in Washington. So we'll leave pretty early in the morning. We'll take a motor coach to the airport, take the plane to Washington DC, and then we'll get another motor coach that will stay with us for our travels in Washington.
Question online was in regards to sleeping arrangements and how they're determined. The default for students is for quad occupancy, so that's 4 students to each room. However, there is the ability, if you want your students to only be double occupancy or triple occupancy, there's a small charge to upgrade the room. Typically, students just do 4 to a room.
If they do that, how do they let us know, like, who they want to room? Like, if they have a specific desire to have 2 to a room, how do they let us know that?
So if a student is double occupancy, you see that. Mr. Smith, on your side, you would be able to see that, so that you would know that there's only supposed to be 2 students.
But who do I know to match them up with? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, sure. So when we actually do like roommate selections,
Okay.
that will be much closer to departure. You know how kids are. Things change a lot in the next several months. So usually we do roommate selection right around the final payment date, so that if anybody is no longer attending the trip, we know that already. And then at that point, you would know, like, well, there are these 4 students who are doing double occupancy. You would ask them, like, hey, are you guys, you know who you're rooming with, along those lines.
Okay. Yeah, so typically what we do is it's the quad occupancy, and Bridget, do you know if the rooms are generally going to have like a pull-out sofa? Is that a normal thing for our rooms, or no?
I don't know. I
Okay.
can't guarantee that.
So okay, so there's no guarantee. Some of the hotels that I've stayed at with on our trips to Disney World, there's been a third bed option, which is like a pull-out sofa. So there's no guarantees about that. So you basically do the rock, paper, scissors thing if we don't want to be sleeping in the same bed, and we can throw some blankets down on the floor and we can rotate, you know. So that's how the sleeping arrangements will work for the quad occupancy. And like Bridget just said, you can choose to do a double or a triple if that's something you want to do. Yes.
Do the kids get to put in a roommate request?
Yes, so I'm going to be as we get closer, I'm going to have a form, like a Google form that will get sent out, and you'll let me know what I really want to know. I think the best thing for me to know is like one person that you really want to room with, because it's really hard to make everyone happy. I've learned this through the multiple trips that I've done, to try to figure out like if they say, I want to room with so-and-so, so-and-so, like these 3 people, then what's going to happen is a whole bunch of other people are going to say, oh, I want to room with that person. And then I'm just like, this is the reason I don't have any hair, okay? I think the best way to do it is to just say, give me one person that you'd like to room with, and we move on from there. So, yeah. Yes?
So in the past, my older daughter got like River Trails t-shirts and like a drawstring. Do they get that still?
A t-shirt and.
It said like River Trails DC.
Right, there's definitely going to be a t-shirt. We're going to have a t-shirt made. The students are going to get a t-shirt to commemorate the trip. I'm not, is there a draw?
I will have to see.
So they had to
if we have
wear it.
drawstrings.
Like they wore the red one day 1 and the blue one day 2.
Oh, there are 2 shirts.
That's what we had a couple years ago.
Wow.
So the question, sorry, I'm doing this
Yeah,
because
sorry.
it's virtual. Yeah, the question that was posed in person is if there would be a specific school shirt for each day and if there would be drawstring bags. I don't know if we still have drawstring bags being made, so I will have to follow up on that. And then as far as shirts, we're doing at least 1. I don't know about multiple.
Well, we could probably do 2. But this is a 4-day trip, so we may not be wearing them for every time we're out and about. We might designate certain days for t-shirts. So.
I agree with the t-shirts, because then you can find that kid faster.
Right.
Because you all know they're 13, 14, think they know everything.
Well, so the comment from the audience here is that it's good to have those t-shirts so that people can find them, so that the chaperones can see where they're at. I can tell you this, this is just the way I roll on trips. Students are not going to go very far from the chaperones, okay? We're not going to say, hey, go, when we get to the Smithsonian, you're free, just wander around and, no. That's not the way I roll. And the students may not like it, they have 1 foot in the door for high school, but this is all like on me pretty much, okay? And we're gonna take this many students to Washington, we're gonna come back with this many students. And that's pretty darn important, okay?
Can I ask you one more question?
Yep.
How do you regulate phone usage?
As
Are
it's-
you at all? Like,
How-
when my older daughter went, it was like only for pictures.
Okay.
Obviously, that was a few years ago, so.
Yeah, so the question was, how do we regulate phone usage? So the last trip we took was 2018, and phones were pretty much in use at that time, cell phones, and lots of students had them. It's hard to regulate that. I'm not going to tell the students that they can't use their phones, yeah, and anything that's being done inappropriate, which I have run into, like inappropriate texting, that we're gonna put our foot down on that and say, you know what, you won't have your phone for the rest of the trip, you know. So it's important that they use them with respect, and I'll talk to the students about that. They can text their friends, that's fine, and if we use them with respect, I think we'll all be good.
Something that I want to piggyback off of that answer, absolutely, we back Mr. Smith 100%. Prior to departure, similar to the medical release form, all students sign a behavior contract, so that really empowers our trip leader to be the one who calls the shots, and if a student is misbehaving, kind of depending on if you do 3 strikes you're out or a 0 tolerance policy, the student will be sent home and it will be on mom and dad's time.
Yeah.
So usually that's enough pressure for the kids to behave.
Which I've actually had that happen once on a trip. Instead of them flying the student back, the parent flew out and took the kid away from the group. And that was the way they handled it. But there was one incident in all of I've actually taken more than 8 trips. I took one, so I've taken 9. I took one at a previous school too. Only happened one time, so I'd like to keep it that way.
The question that was asked online is what kind of room arrangements are there for chaperones? Chaperones are in single rooms.
Yes, question?
What's the deadline for signing up as a chaperone? I'm still
So-
negotiating with my daughter.
Right, so.
I say yes, she says no.
Right, so the deal with chaperones is this. The first thing we need to find out is how many, so the question is, what is the deadline for chaperones to sign up? The first thing we have to find out is how many students are going, okay? And we're gonna know that in the next couple of days, like what a pretty good number is, okay? It will likely go up. We're probably gonna get another push at the beginning of next school year when people decide, hey, I think I wanna do this, okay? We're not gonna really know for a little while how many chaperones we need, but I'll be looking at that form that's over here. If you sign up if you're interested in being a chaperone, or parents, if you're at home listening to this, if you send me an email, I can put you on that list. That's not actually signing you up to be a chaperone, that is you letting me know that you're interested, and then I'm gonna be pulling from those in a lottery. I gotta figure out how to do that lottery. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do it, but we'll do it in a fair way, and make sure that then we pull our chaperones in that way. Okay, does that make sense? Okay.
Brian, just putting your email in the chat. So that those who are online, they know to email you if they're interested in being chaperone. Another question online that was asked, tell me about meals. What do meals look like? It's so funny because parents are usually the ones worried about safety and security, and I bet you this parent, their child is asking, what am I eating? Who am I rooming with? So as far as the meals go, all breakfasts are served on site at the hotel. It's a full hot breakfast. It's not just like a Danish and juice. It's a full hot breakfast, and there will also be fresh fruit for them to throw in their knapsacks. Lunch is usually on the move at like a food court type option. We give the students vouchers so that they have like 10 or a dozen restaurants to pick like a full meal from, instead of giving them just cash, because what will happen is they get cash, they go get a couple of things off the dollar menu, and then they get whatever doodads that are, at the mall. Then undeniably they will end up hungry in like 2 hours. So we give them meal vouchers, and then dinner is always at buffet style type restaurants or a restaurant with a prefix menu.
All right, anything else? Anything else online?
Yes, we had one question. If you are a chaperone, can your child and another child stay in your room?
So that's happened before. My first response to that is I wouldn't do it myself. I think you want to give the students a little bit of freedom to enjoy their friends in a room, and that's my personal thing. But yeah, we've actually had chaperones do that, where they room with their child, and that's fine. I think that affects the cost of the room, correct?
Yes, that would be triple occupancy then.
Right.
Instead of flat.
Yeah. So we could certainly cross that road as needed. You got a kick out of that, didn't you?
And remember, the chaperones get single room, so I'm just replying to the group here that, everybody, if you, in that situation, an adult and their child and another child, everybody there would be at triple occupancy. Whereas that adult gets a single room, why not? So.
Yeah. Yes.
What chain of hotels are you looking at staying?
I don't know exactly which hotel you guys would be staying at. Sorry, I don't even know where question here. The question was, what kind of hotel would we be staying at? I don't know yet, however, I can tell you we are one of the biggest partners. We are the biggest partner with Marriott. So it's gonna be that caliber of hotel.
Yeah, I think all the Marriott hotels are pretty nice. We've stayed in Spring Hill Suites quite a bit when we go down to Orlando, and the Spring Hill Suites, I don't know if you've ever stayed in one of those, they're pretty nice. They come with a nice breakfast each morning.
Well, I will stick around for any individual questions that anybody may happen to have. I don't want to, again, I don't want to take up your whole evening, so if you want to go on, continue on with whatever the evening holds for you. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Mr. Smith. We're super excited to be bringing this back, and thank you all for attending, whether it was online or in person. Thank you.
All right, we'll stick around if you have any questions. Thank you, everybody.
And if you didn't have a chance to sign in, make sure you do that.
Oh my gosh, it's like all